music is drowning in the last drop of the flame. No one to fight now, no one left to blame. Four walls white and bare, closing in tight, measuring the silence in the dead of the night. I hear the ceiling fan cutting through the air, staring at the ceiling with the hollow kind of stare. Every thought is a weight, every breath is a chore, just the sound of the dust settling on the floor. The room is a vacuum, a hollowed out chest, where the ghosts of the morning come to take their rest. I'm stripped of the armor, I'm stripped of the name, just a flicker in the dark and it's never the same. V-O-I-D, the sound of the self when the world loses substance. O-I-D, voices of internal disturbance. It's just me and the echo and the final occurrence. The birds in the rafters, they don't sing, they just shiver, watching the reflection of a dark frozen river in the back of the mind where the old words rot. I'm counting the things that I simply forgot. No more battles to win, no more territory to hold, just the dampness of the room and the bite of the cold. The tape is nearly finished, the magnetic is thin. Where does the world end and where do I begin? I'm talking to the corner but the corner doesn't hear, just the hiss in the ear and the taste of the fear. The bird's wings are heavy, the flutter is dry, the last bit of logic is starting to die. Disturbance, internal.
Degrees of nothing.
Yeah, final chapter, digging through the murk. Can't kill what's already buried. Listen to the ancestors whisper. R-O-O-T-S, 89 degrees of dirt. Yeah. The clay is heavy, clinging to the soul skin, buried in the trench where the ancient tales begin. No sunlight in the cracks, just the drought and the heat, feeling the vibration of the bloodline underneath my feet. The shovel hits the rock, but the spirit doesn't break. Thorns in the garden are the only paths we take. Weeds growing wild, pushing through the hard crust, turning the bitter drought into a holy kind of trust. Just the struggle of the sap rising through the dark bark, finding a direction without a single spark. Deep in the soil where the ancestors reside, there's a power in the mud that the system can't hide. I'm talking through the teeth, bitter and severe. Nothing but the earth and the heritage here. R-O-O-T-S, real oppression only touches souls. R-O-O-T-S, digging through the dirt to find our goals. R-O-O-T-S, real oppression only touches souls. The branch might snap, but the essence stays whole. Yeah, it's the R-O-O-T-S. Listen to the wood, hear the cracking of the timber. The world wants us gone, but the fire is a light ember, sapping the veins, thicker than the river's flow. Watching how the wild things stubbornly grow. Burial is just a plant in the secret evolution. The dirt in the fingernails is the only true solution. Thorns for the crown, clay for the throne, building up a kingdom made of spirit and bone. I see the lineage, the whispers in the mound, a sacred frequency that's hidden in the ground. No vanity here, just the grit and the grime, standing outside the reach of the shallow time. The kalimba echoes from a place they can't reach, the lesson that the silence is trying to teach. It's in the dirt, it's in the blood, They can touch the skin, they can touch the bone, but the soul is deep where the R-O-O-T-S grows. R-O-O-T-S, real oppression only touches souls. R-O-O-T-S, to find our goals. R-O-O-T-S. Real oppression only touches soul. The branch might snap, but the essence stays whole. Oppression only touches soul. 89 BPM. The anthology is complete. Keep digging. Stay in the earth. Yep, punch the clock. Yeah, 89 beats per minute, strictly survival. No silver spoons, yeah, just the iron and the dust. Alarm rings 5 a.m, lungs breathing in the smog, marching to the mill, just another gear, another car, punching paper cards where the machinery grinds the bone. Minimum wage digits, a disconnected dial tone, overall stained with grease, staring at the furnace flame, sweat pooling on the brow, losing in the rig game. Foreman yelling from the booth, ref reeking a cheap gin. We scraping pennies from the dirt just to keep the tin. Roof leaking above the stove, bill stacked by the door, mop the floor, sweep the ash. What are we working for? The skyline is choking on the exhaust and the fumes, living in these matchbox rooms, waiting for the tombs. I spit the raw data, no filter on the lens. When the paycheck is a fraction, the suffering never ends. We ruins independent minds every single day, scraping up the concrete just to get our minimum pay. Yeah, it's c.r.e.a.m. Time is money and the money is blind. We trapped inside the factory just losing our mind. I say greed. I said greed ruins independent minds every single day, scraping up the concrete just to get our minimum pay. Yeah, it's c.r.e.a.m. Spit the grit and survive the time, clocking out the shift, and we committing a crime. Rusted fences, chain and yard padlocks on the gate, waiting on a steady dollar that always arrives late. Scrap metal economy, copper wire stripped and sold. Winter wind biting hard, but the currency is cold. Poverty is engineered, a blueprint of the elite, while we starve on the gravel, pacing with exhausted feet. No banquet on the table, just a plastic fork in the can. The anatomy of the broken, the forgotten working man. Sirens blaring down the block, eviction notice on the glass. They building glass towers while the lower tax brackets crash. I whisper truth through the teeth, monotone and severe. Nothing but the struggle in the factory whistle here. Systematic chokehold, the structural disease, bringing the entire proletariat to its knees. Ruins independent minds every single day, scraping up the concrete just to get our minimum pay. Yeah, it's c.r.e.a.m. Time is money and the money is blind. We trapped inside the factory just losing our mind. Independent minds every single day, scraping up the concrete just to get our minimum pay. Yeah, it's c.r.e.a.m. Spit the grit and survive the time, clocking out the shift, and we committing the crime. Keep that saxophone chop. 89 the iron anthem. Ever state of mind, check the frequency. 12-bit reality. They don't see the marks, but the soul feels the weight. Listen. Yeah. The lecture hall was the corner where the cold air bit, where the dean of the shadow shadows made the matches get lit. No diplomas on these walls, just a heavy degree of how to move in the cage where the exit ain't free. I learned the math of the struggle, the physics of pain, while the institutional rain washed the truth down the drain. Trade the desk for a lead, trade the pen for a path, trying to solve the equation of the system's own wrath. The ink is in the blood, the paper is the blocker, curriculum of pressure, putting dreams in a lock. C.R.E.a.m. Systematic cycles always remain severe. C.R.E.a.m. Systematic cycles always remain severe. It's the mark of the struggle, the weight of the years. Systematic cycles always remain severe. They build the walls high before we learn how to speak, defining the strong by how they harvest the weak. It's a loop, a design, a revolving door frame where the faces keep changing but the hurt stays the same. Street wisdom is the shield when the books are all hollow, swallowing the bitter truth that's too heavy to swallow. Invisible wounds from the sirens and the stress, caught in the chess game where we're taught to be less, but the spirit is ancient, the mindset is deep, while the rest of the world stays paralyzed in sleep. It's systematic, the cycle is spinning, it remains always severe, always. C.R.E.a.m. Systematic cycles always remain severe. C.R.E.a.m. Systematic cycles always remain severe. It's the mark of the struggle, the weight of the years. Systematic cycles always remain severe. Severe reality. From the cradle to the grave, break the cycle or become it. Yeah.
89 degrees of cold logic.
The observer is present.
Calculated
Observations.
Open the ledger.
Open the ledger. Yeah. High on the slate, the graphite finds the grain, counting every droplet of the vertical rain. Not a sentiment involved, just the sum of the scene through the aperture. The blackness is serene, recording the coordinates, the latitude of breath, watching how the city mimics simulated death. The eclipse is a metric, a decline in the glow, analytic vision while the mercury is low. I don't feel the wind, I just measure the force, mapping out the chaos, tracking every course. The pavement is a map of a failed intent, calculating exactly where the energy was spent.
C.O.D.E.
Calculated observations during eclipses.
C.O.D.E.
The formula for darkness.
The logic in the creases.
C.O.D.E.
Calculated observations during eclipses.
We don't react, we just record the pieces.
Calipers measuring the hollow of the night, converting every movement to a fragment of light. No empathy required for the pattern of the crawl, just the tally of the figures leaning on the wall. The skyline is a diagram, a sketch of the end, following the arc where the broken lines bend. The penumbra is heavy, but the ink is precise, building up the ledger at a statistical price. I see the void widening, the numerical gap, total darkness sending like a closing trap. No panic in the heart, just a mark on the page. The silence, stenographer of the obsidian age.
The lights are dimming. Percentage of visibility, 0. The calculation is complete. The darkness is absolute.
C.O.D.E.
Calculated observations during eclipses.
C.O.D.E.
The formula for darkness.
The logic in the creases.
C.O.D.E.
calculated observations during eclipses. We don't react, we just record the pieces. Observations recorded, the ledger is closed. Stay in the blind spot.
C.o.d.e. C.o.d.e.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 89 BPM, Staten Island, basement level. Life on, systematic sidelines. Stay in the shadows. Listen. Thin fabric on the frame, wind biting through the wall, staring at the gray sky, feeling every heavy pull. Standing at the bus stop, plastic benches splitting two. Old souls on the pavement, soaking up the morning dew. I'm a ghost in the crowd. No one looks, no one speaks. The way that they'd ignore, turning weeks into peaks, letting clouds hanging low, blocking out the daylight glow. Walking through the slush, moving heavy, moving slow. Cold broth in the bowl, steam is dying in the air. Sitting in the kitchen with the blinking vacant stare, just a shadow on the wall, just a name they never call. Watching all the leaves turn to brown and start to fall. LOSS. Life on systematic sidelines. LOSS. Pushed to the edge, forgotten by the designs. LOSS. Life on systematic sidelines. LOSS. We the phantom standing in the back of the line. Worn out cobra in tight collar, hiding up the face. Trying to find a rhythm in the cold and hollow space. The city moves past the blur of gray and faded wall. Empty pockets, empty hands, life is never even full. Silent waiting for a change that is never gonna come. Feet hitting the hard ground, fingers getting stiff and numb. Observe the silence, hear the breath in the freezing mist. A systematic absence that was never on the list. No one hears the heartbeat, no one sees the spirit fade. Living in the dark parts of a world we never made. The ledger's got no room for the man upon the curb. Just a static figure, just a noun without a verb. LOSS. Life on systematic sidelines. LOSS. Pushed to the edge, forgotten by the designs. LOSS. Life on systematic sidelines. LOSS. We the phantom standing in the back of the lines. Systematic, ignore. 89. SP 1200 reality. Keep the coat tight, yeah. Listen.